with his spinning, no-look, freaking floaty backhand. You stupid idiot Mitch Marner. I've had it up to here with this guy. Get him off our team. Oh, man. That might have been a little bit too rough on my part. Damn it, I'm a Leaf fan. The last 9 years haven't been easy. No! No! Not again! Not again! Why every single up 2-1, up 3-2 to lose Game 6 and Game 7. They're gonna come back from 3-1 down. How's it going, everyone? I know you've been waiting for this video. Everyone wants my reaction to Mitch Marner joining the Vegas Golden Knights, and I wanted to take my time with this. The second that the Toronto Maple Leafs lost in the playoffs, everybody farming that content. The Leafs suck. The Leafs are the worst team ever. Mitch Marner is terrible. Austin Matthews is terrible. And trust me, I was tempted to join that train, but I wanted to take my time so I could break this apart and do this the right way. Mitch! $10 million for that, you stupid! I know exactly why the Core 4 era didn't work in Toronto, and we'll get to that, but the things that I hear, the criticisms directed towards these players, they don't care, they don't have heart, no leadership qualities, blah, blah, blah. Heard it all before with the hot dog master back in 2015, Phil Kessel. And what did he do when he left Toronto?
Just 45 seconds after the Penguins scored, down Kessel, ties the game at 2.
Oh yeah, 3-time Stanley Cup champion, Olympic MVP, but no heart, no soul. Couldn't win in Toronto, please. They said the same thing about Nazem Kadri. Too stupid to be trusted in the playoffs with his emotional, gritty play style. Goes on to win a Stanley Cup in 22 with Colorado, thanks a lot. And I don't know, I'm forced to watch the Florida Panthers run through the East every single year. Might be nice to have Nazem Kadri as a counter to Sam Bennett, for God's sakes.
This guy's such an idiot here.
So I'm actually going to defend Mitch Marner in this video. I know you didn't expect that one, right? I must still be hungover from last night or something. But the fact is, he's a fantastic player, and I don't even think he's reached his ceiling just yet. There's a few little things if he can improve upon, he'll be even better. And the most obvious thing, his mindset. Take over, Mitch. Shoot the freaking puck. Breakaway here for Mitch Marner. What was no look, floaty back pass, Mitch. When he plays with a star player, he turns into a passive facilitator, and the best example of this, 4 Nations. He started the tournament on a line with McDavid and Sam Reinhart, but guess what? It didn't work out. He kept on trying to set up McDavid and just kept on making mistakes. They demote him down to the 3rd line with Cirelli and Hagel. All of a sudden, he comes alive because he starts attacking. He starts driving that line. In the final, he sets up Sam Bennett with a tricky little pass, shelf, short side, game all tied up. And he scored the overtime goal against Sweden, but that's kind of the criticism against Mitch, right? What was that overtime? 3v3. That doesn't happen in the playoffs. That's a regular season type goal. No one's on you! Let me just chuck it. No one's going to criticize Marner for his regular season numbers. His point production is elite, he's always available, and his cap hit, it's fine. It's the playoff numbers that people point to when talking negatively about Mitch. His career regular season point per game, 1.12. Elite, fantastic. His playoff career point per game, 0.9. Now, things get harder in the playoffs. That makes sense, right? But the last 9 games where the Leafs were eliminated from the playoffs, Mitch Marner has 2 assists and is a -8. That is pretty telling. Now let's compare these numbers to another winger drafted in 2015 who also signed $12 million a year for the next 8 years, Mikko Rantanen. His career regular season point per game, 1.08. Marner's got him beat, but actually the playoff point per game total for Rantanen, it goes up to 1.24. And the last 7 times that Mikko Rantanen has been eliminated, in those games, he's got 4 goals, 2 assists for 6 points, and is a -5. These 2 players are getting paid the same. Something is wrong here. Oh my God, I'm about to throw my goddamn microphone through the window. Now, I know it's not fair to use these numbers against Mitch and let everyone else off the hook, because you could say the same thing about Austin Matthews, John Tavares, William Nylander. Great regular season production, but come the playoffs, come that elimination game, no shows. What kind of fucking breakout pass was that, Matthews? So we're left with the question, can Mitch Marner be an effective playoff player? I'm just gonna say it. Absolutely yes, he can, man. I talked about it earlier. There's a ceiling that I think he can strive for. You know what player he should try to mimic? Pavel Datsyuk. Now, let me explain myself, right? I know Marner's a winger and he's right-handed. Datsyuk winning faceoffs down the middle and he's left-handed. But the size, the height and weight, similar. Marner is a 30 and 60 guy. 30 goals, 60 assists. Prime Datsyuk, the exact same thing. And think about it. They're not, like, overwhelming shots. They don't have that straight-line speed. They're tricky players. They're shifty players. They're stealth players, right? And the one word that you would use to describe Datsyuk, efficiency. That's where Marner needs to improve upon. He's got to stop the hot dog stuff. If Marner could be making the right plays 99% of the time, oh hell yeah, he'd be an effective playoff performer. But there's actually a huge difference between Datsyuk and Marner. We go back to 2002. Pavel Datsyuk's rookie season. He goes all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals with the Detroit Red Wings. That's a great way to be introduced into the NHL. And the final, it should have been Toronto versus Detroit, original six, blue versus red. But Arturs Urbe and the freaking Carolina Hurricanes had different plans. Whatever though, the point I'm making, his rookie season, he wins a Stanley Cup, but also, think about that locker room that Datsyuk learned from. Guys like, I don't know, Steve Yzerman, Nick Lidstrom, Brett Hull, freaking Dominic Hasek, Sergei Fedorov, Brendan Shanahan, Luke Robitaille, Chris Chelios, and of course, the legendary Sean Avery.
This is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like this.
Marner, he comes into the league 2017 and he's already the hero. He's already the savior. The Toronto Maple Leafs have been terrible and we all convinced him that he's already a god. And guess what? That carried over into the first round of contracts and that's exactly where I'm driving to.
No one's on you. Let me just chuck it.
By the way, why the hell was Duel of the Fates from Star Wars playing when Mitch Marner got drafted? What is he, the Phantom Menace?
No, but he's absolutely dynamic. He edges extremely well, and he can handle the puck at high speeds. It'll be fascinating just to see how he develops.
My God, Toronto, we should have known the entire time. Look behind Mitch, two Sith Lords right there, Palpatine and Darth Vader. Mitch, you were the chosen one. You were supposed to end the cup drought, not extend it. It's really simple. The problem with the Core 4 era in Toronto. 2 words, you ready? Cap hits. We paid all these guys like they were already champions, which meant that we were a top-heavy team with little to no depth. First, it was our blue line. All we had was Morgan Ryland. We tried. We went out there and got guys like TJ Brody or Tyson Berry. Then it was our goaltending. Couldn't afford to pay goalies. We had Anderson. Then we went to Jack Campbell. Then we went to Ilya Samsonov, Joseph Wall. Now we got Stoley. So it's taken a while, but we've built up our blue line. We got some goaltenders, but this last playoff run against the Florida Panthers, it's the forward depth, and it's so obvious because you look at Florida, Brad Marchand, Itulo Storinin, and Anton Lundell on their third line. What's our third line? Friggin' Pontus Holmberger, Max Pacioretty, Scott Lawton, Domi, Bobby McMahon, Nick Robertson, right? That right there is the problem, cap hit. Imagine we worked the cap where we could have still kept guys like Zach Hyman or Naz Kadri still on this team right there. It's not the players, it's not the personnel, it's the fact that we overpaid way too many players.
Well, there you go, Sheldon Keefe, you dumb f.
Now, how do we figure out how much a player's been overpaid? It's time for the boring part of the video. Lots of numbers, lots of stats on the screen. But I've got a formula here, and I've uncovered something quite interesting for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So Mitch Marner, $10.9 million a year for his first contract, $12 million a year for his second contract. That's a 10% increase for Mitch from contract 1 to contract 2. Now, the rest of the 2015 draft, we're going to exclude McDavid, Eichel, Connor, and Kaprizov because they haven't signed their second contracts yet. But the rest of them, we'll start with Timo Meier. He started off at $6 million. He got a bump up to 8.8. That's a 46% increase. Mikko Rantanen started at $9.25. He now gets paid the same as Mitch, $12 million. That's a 29% increase. Barzell, 30%. Konechny, 61%. Aho, 15%. And the winner of the 2015 draft, Rupe Hintz, 168% increase. Now, you can interpret these numbers many different ways. Which players got better? I'm actually looking at the first contract and trying to figure out whether it was a team-friendly contract or if that player got paid market value. The lower the percentage, the more market value the first contract was. And isn't it interesting that Mitch Marner has the lowest number out of all of these players? Let's take a look at the players with the highest cap in the NHL. Austin Matthews, $11.64 his first contract, a $13.25 his second, a $13 13% increase. This is where it gets crazy. William Nylander, he got a 53% increase, right? They dragged Willie through the mud negotiating with him while they paid Marner and Matthews right away. How about Nathan McKinnon, my boy?
2 BC again with the 400-person host? What the fuck, bro? Thank you, dude. Let's go, dude. 2 BC raid. That's my boy.
How about Nathan McKinnon, my boy? Freaking 100% increase. His first contract was freaking half of his second contract. How about Leon Draisaitl? 64%, going from 8.5 up to 14. Pettersson from Vancouver, 57%. Erik Karlsson, 76%. Pasternak, 68. Barkov, 69. And these top paid players, I mean, Barkov, Stanley Cup champion. Pasternak, been to the Stanley Cup finals. Draisaitl, Stanley Cup finals. McKinnon, Stanley Cup winner. Isn't it interesting that of all the players that I've shown, Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner are the ones with the smallest bump from contract 1 to contract 2? You know what that tells me? All of these guys, except for Willie, were overpaid. They did not give us a team-friendly contract like Nathan McKinnon, like Leon Draisaitl. They did not give us the 8 years where we would have still had another 2 with these guys. So with the cap going up, we would have had a small little window. Out of all the players, and out of all the teams, Marner and Matthews are the 2 guys with the lowest bumps from first to second contract. You want to know why the Core 4 era failed? Right there. We overpaid these guys, and you can blame Shanahan and Dubas for that nonsense. Well, we got John Tavares, a first overall pick, a former first overall pick, and we just got Austin Matthews, a first overall pick a couple of years ago. Can't believe it. We've just won ourselves the Stanley Cup.
This guy's such an idiot here.
My dumbass really thought the Toronto Maple Leafs had a dynasty in them. I thought they were going to be the next Chicago Blackhawks, but using this formula, it tells the whole story. Back in 2020, Mitch Marner, after signing his contract, took up 13.3% of the cap hit. In 2015, the last time Chicago won, Kane was only taking up 9.1% of the cap hit. The next year when he got his raise, he was now taking up 14.7%, and Chicago never won the Stanley Cup again. So in 2015, if Kane was only taking 9.1%, what's 9.1% of the current cap, or the cap in 2020? Guess what it is? $7.4 million. That's what Mitch Marner should have been paid. $7.5, $8 million. You do that, you sign Willie for 7, you sign Austin for 10, you sign Tavares for 9. I don't know, you save like $5, $6, $7 million. You take that money, you surround them with depth, and it's the golden age of Toronto hockey. And then when they become unrestricted free agents, they cash in. But no, we did it backwards in Toronto, and we have nothing to show for it.
How's your breath?
It's not good, eh?
Everyone's got their own opinions on why the Core 4 era didn't work in Toronto, but for me it's very simple. I'm not throwing Mitch Marner under the bus, making him the scapegoat. I'm not bringing up subjects like heart, determination, drive, leadership for these players. They're great players, okay? This is management's fault. They overpaid everyone. We became the 2016 Chicago Blackhawks without the 3 Stanley Cups. You can blame Shanahan, Dubas, and the rest of the Toronto Maple Leaf management for that. So when it comes to Mitch, I wish you nothing but the best in Vegas. I think this will be best for both parties. Go dominate like you can, and with the money that we've saved, you know, we can do a lot of different things, and we've got to keep the potential possibility open for Connor McDavid to join the Toronto Maple Leafs next year. Captain America, Captain Canada on the same team? Oh, a Leaf fan can dream, can he? So thanks for watching, everyone. Let me know what you think, and I will see you all next time.